Hi everybody, how are you today? Thank you for letting me come into your space and share a little bit of your day. My name is Dawn from Embracing Dawn, and we are doing the weekly readings for August 16 to 22 for all earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So how we're doing it this week, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, I'd like for you to take a look at these three decks and choose which deck you want your reading to come from. So you have deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3. So take a look at those, pause the video if you need to, choose the deck that you are most drawn to, that's just sparking you, calling you somehow, the one that's most attractive to you, or just for some reason it's saying, look at me. And then in the timestamps, you'll find the starting of each read. So just go to the bottom where there's that little arrow, sort of this little triangle on the right side of the screen, down by the picture. If you click on that, it'll open up the description, and it'll have deck 1, deck 2, deck 3. Just click right on the time, and it'll take you straight to it, so you don't have to scroll through, okay? So we are going to get started with deck number 1. So this will be deck number 1. Then we have deck number 2 and deck number 3. Okay, so I'm just moving these. And we're going to get started with deck number 1. So thank you so much, Earth signs, for, tuning in and joining. Let's see if you've chosen this deck. This is around Dragon Fae energy. So let's see what the message is coming forward for this week. And we don't want the other deck. That's not going to work. Okay. So let's see what the messages are. The main focus is on look beneath the surface. So this is all about looking beyond the mask. So for the earth signs this week that chose this deck, this is all about going a little bit deeper, looking behind or past what is just sort of presented in front of you, and looking for the deeper meaning around it. Okay. And we have boundaries here. So looking for the deeper meaning, establishing your boundaries. Then you've got love who you are, and you've got open your heart. So this is all around you. Like, I have a little bit of goosebumps right now. This is all about you and your perception of self, your perception of exactly that, your perception of self. This is all around internal transformation. This is around boundaries. This is looking past the surface. This is, loving exactly who you are in this moment. You are enough, and opening up your heart. So on some level, those of you that are attracted to this reading, you've been influenced somehow. Your perception of self, your self-esteem, your connection to your solar plexus, your heart chakra has not been as open as it could be, and it could be due to past experiences where you have felt less than, and you've closed off your heart a little bit in that case. And it seems that it's perhaps around not having strong enough boundaries. We don't know what we don't know. And when we learn, then we do better, right? When we know better, we do better. And that's around for ourselves as well. So this looking beyond the surface, you're at a time in your life now. And this week we've got the Lionsgate portal just finished, August 8th, which is huge portal for change and manifestation. But it also forces things up that are ready for change. And then we've got the new moon energy coming on the 18th, so we're right sort of in this overlap of very strong energies. And new moons are all about manifesting and creating within the next lunar cycle, right? So this message is that you are ready for a change, to look deeper and to realize your worth, and to recognize that, you can have this open, loving heart. You just got to have super clear boundaries. And that's true with everybody, right? But this week, what's coming forward, it's very specific for those of you that chose this, that are connecting to it. This is all around you looking past the illusion of things, you know, getting your empathic abilities, your intuitive abilities to shine and come forward, you know, because things are usually not ever what they seem to be on the surface. So much of how we communicate is not with our spoken word, you know? So it's time for you to dig a little deeper into that. And let's get some tarot to see what that's about. Okay, all right. So here, underneath boundaries, we've got recovery and responsibility. We've got the Four of Swords and the Ten of Wands. So the Four of Swords is that spot where, you know, they're sitting on top, they're right there, you're sort of in this place, where you've been a little bit wounded, you're licking those wounds a little bit, you know, you're in this space of recovery and retreat. You know, with the boundaries, perhaps they haven't been clear, you've taken on too much responsibility. So either too much responsibility within a relationship or a connection, that could be romantic or it could be familial, you know, it could be your children, your parents, you know, a relative that's come on in and they're down on their luck for a little bit of time, but now they suddenly live on your couch for the last 6 months and it's time to move on, you know, but you've taken or you feel like you have too much responsibility. And you're coming into a time of recovery and it's all around creating and expressing clear boundaries for yourself. You have to make sure that you're putting yourself first and what works for you first. And then once you do that, you know, we teach people how to treat us. And that is partly with our boundaries. What's a hard no? What's a hard yes? And they will shift over time. Our boundaries shift as we shift and grow, right? So with this looking deeper, looking past the surface of things, you're now starting to see things in a way that you didn't before. And it's, yeah, that's it. And it's time for you to create boundaries because you're now opening up to a new way of seeing things and you are not less than. You know, you're perfect exactly the way you are. And this one is opening up your heart space. It's time for you to allow that to open up again. And it could be with an open heart, you're able to look past things, you know, to look in deeper, not past them, to look deeper into them, to really establish some boundaries and release this burden that you've been feeling, this sense of responsibility. Because in here, for loving yourself exactly for who you are in this moment, you've got Ace of Pentacles, which is all about prosperities. Aces are new beginnings. So this is about a new beginning that's going to bring about a prosperous, more open space for you. And you've got Strength, which is stability. So whatever this shift is that you're creating by going deeper, digging deeper, looking past what's just presented to you and using your intuition and using your guidance, using your, you know, passed on loved ones, your messages, your dream time, looking deep into your own past experiences, releasing this is going to bring this new, the new possibilities of this prosperity coming forward, where things are going to be much more open and much more wonderful, and it's going to create the strength in you to create more stability within whatever this connection is for you. But it's going to bring about stability, but you've got to rely on your own inner strength because you've got it. You're perfect exactly the way that you are in this moment right now. You know, you're always growing and changing. You're always evolving and getting better. But in each and every moment, we are exactly where we need to be in this universe because we learn lessons all the way through life. And this is what you're being shown, is that you've been disillusioned somehow. You've been told, you've been programmed, you've created a mindset through possibly external influences that you've internalized as your own beliefs that you're not enough and that you need to overburden yourself. You need to take on too much responsibility in order to be worthy of something. And that's simply not true. That's not the case. You know, and with the open heart here, we've got the Three of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. So we've got this calm energy where it's just You know, things are aligned, things are calm right now with that open heart space. And then Three of Pentacles is recognition. You know, so you're either going to receive recognition on some level from somebody around this transformation that you're going through as you dig deeper and you set boundaries with people, particularly it feels like around your sense of self-worth or around your personal, you know, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental self, because we've got boundaries for each of those, right? So you've got to really work on being aware of those boundaries and look past what people are trying to present to you and really see, you know, is this good for me or is this not good for me? Because I don't really need this extra stuff to take this on in order to be successful and in order to have great things. I'm perfect the way I am, and my heart needs to be an open space so that I can experience, you know, these great things, like this sense of inner calm and this recognition. Like this may be, in terms of recognition, it could be recognition for doing something from someone else. It could be external, but it could also be internal for you, that those of you that chose this, you're recognizing now your sense of worth. You know, you do take input from others, but you're recognizing that what you've got going on is solid all by itself, you know, and that's enough. That's more than enough. You're establishing those boundaries where you're not going to let people influence you in a negative way. You're not going to let them throw you off your center anymore, because you're seeing things more clearly by looking deeper. You know, that's really what this is about for the Taurus and the Capricorn and the Virgos that have chosen this deck, okay? So we're going to pull from another deck and get a little more clarity before we end the reading. And please, if you like the reads, if you're getting something from them, please click the like button, click the subscribe button if you want to get tuned in for when I do more readings. There will be a new moon reading on the 18th as well. I'll be putting them out before the 18th to help you get ready for this new moon energy. All right, so our final card is Magnanimous Me. See? You're more than enough. Like, you are the creator and the center of your very own universe. You are fabulous, and you need to believe that, especially with these first cards coming out here. You know, you've really got to look and keep those boundaries and understand that you are perfect exactly where you're at. It may not be the place where you thought you were going to be at this time in your life. It may not be up to where you projected or thought you were going to be. Understand that that's okay. You know, sometimes we need to let go of that process and allow things to unfold and flow with them in order for that growth to happen, and not be so rigid about the way that we get somewhere, you know? Just, you gotta let it kind of kiss it to the sky, so to speak. You've gotta set that intention, set the boundaries, you know, open up and realize your worth right now, even if it's not where you're supposed to be or where you feel you're supposed to be right now. You've got to give yourself credit for how far you've come, you know, because in that recognition and that gratitude, that brings that energy up. It lifts your frequency, and it allows the space for better to even keep coming in, like even more good things, okay? So for those of you that chose this first deck, those are your messages for August 16th to 22nd for all of our earth signs. I hope you were able to get something from it. Please remember to live big and shine your light, especially with this message. Do not dim your light for anybody, because we are all important and you are important, okay? Until next time. Hi everybody, we're going to start with deck 2, and deck 2 was this deck here. So we're going to start with a general message or a focus message for the week for those Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn that chose this deck for their message this week. And we have retreat. So there's something going on in your life where you are having to step back and just take a look at things. You're maybe, licking your wounds a little bit. Maybe something has happened recently, but the focus is in retreat for the week of August 16 to 22. And this is connected to confidence, sweetness, and steady progress. So confidence, it feels to me with retreat that your self-confidence has been lacking, that you're sort of losing the feeling of the sweetness of life, and that it's you're not seeing this steady progress. Now, for those of you that doesn't apply to, it could be that you are taking time out now because you've really decided you want to enjoy some of the sweetness of life, and you're confident within yourself about where you're at and what you've been accomplishing, that it's time for you to do that because you're making steady progress with the areas of your life that this might pertain to. So this could pertain to work, where you're taking some time off work because you've been working hard, you're feeling good about that, so you want to just enjoy those sweet rewards for a little bit. It could be that you're retreating because this is, this is in the shadow aspect where, you've kind of lost your confidence and you're a little bit disillusioned about life at the moment, and your progress in something you've been trying to work towards has been stagnated. So let's take a look a little more deeply into that. We'll pull some tarot just to get more information. And I really want to shuffle these up a lot. And so we'll pull 6 tarot, 2 to clarify each of the cards, and then we'll elaborate on the message from there. Okay, so let's see what we have in store. Yeah, okay. Okay, sure. Okay, so, yep, it looks, it might be more of the shadow aspect of it, because we have the 5 of Pentacles, abandonment. So over top of this, confidence, we have abandonment and we have growth. So something has affected with the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, which is growth. So you've lost your confidence in something. Either someone abandoned you in the middle of something, if it was an activity or a work project or a venture, some kind of plan. Someone has left you feeling less confident. They've not stayed with you, and this is leading to some growth for you, definitely, and it's got steady progress, which is going to come forward, but you've got a bit of a hiccup here because you've been disillusioned somehow. Either you're considering abandoning something or someone because it's too heavy for you, and it's just shaken your confidence, or you're dealing with a situation where it's, it's someone else that's influencing that. So it feels more like a shadow aspect, unless it is that you are overcoming this energy of abandonment, where you felt abandoned and you've got this new perception now, this new understanding, this new outlook that's coming forward, with this sweetness energy as well. So perhaps it is that you're seeing growth because you've moved through that already, that sense of being abandoned, and you're really finding your inner confidence. It could be around that too, because this is a general read, right? So you have to bring meaning to it. Then under the sweetness, we've got the 4 of Swords, recovery and retreat. That the way that they connect to me is that you're pulling back because you need to recover from something. You've kind of been hit hard, and this is the 10 of Wands, which is that sense of overwhelming responsibility, very heavy energy. 10 of Wands feels very, very, very heavy. It's like you've taken on the world, so to speak, and it's just too much. It's way too much. It is near the end of a cycle, but it's just a very heavy energy. So it's like you're recovering from that, and you're going to discover the sweetness again. But it feels to me like those of you that pulled this, chose this deck for your message this week, Earth signs, this is all about you. You know, this is all about you sort of nursing, healing, looking at the woundedness, you know, moving through that sense of abandonment, overcoming this sense of heavy responsibility around something, and being able to regain your confidence and, you know, your optimism and your sweetness, your perspective about the sweetness of life, because the message that's coming through here is that you're overcoming, or have recently overcome, some very heavy emotional energy, you know, and it could be directly connected to a loved one, but it could also be directed to other areas of your life as well. You know, a business venture, a project, a creative endeavor that you've been working on, and it's sort of, you got stopped in your tracks, you've let it go because it was just seemed too much, or someone was placing too much responsibility on you to help them achieve something, and you just need to step back from that, because you've got retreat and you've got recovery here, right? Which is a real indication you've got to just pull back. Then you've got the abandonment, and you've got that heavy responsibility with recovery. So again, it's time to just sort of protect yourself, get into a protective bubble, so to speak, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, and really just do some looking in, because you're moving through this, because you have steady progress here, and you've got Ace of Pentacles and Strength. So the outcome is good. The outcome is positive. The process is going to be a little bit, you know, not so much. It's going to be a little squishy for you. And growth often is, you know, growth and change is often a little bit, we feel a little squishy. It's uncomfortable. It can be painful, you know, but we can transmute those energies and let them go. And that's what you're being asked to do, because you have the Ace of Pentacles, which is a brand new cycle. Aces are all about new beginnings. And Pentacles is usually something in the material world, you know, that's manifesting, but it can really relate to anything. And then you've got Strength, Major Arcana, which represents stability. You're going to find that inner strength. It's coming to you through this process. You're going to find that inner strength to face whatever it is that has been challenging you here. As you retreat this week and you just step back from things and you don't get involved in whatever the chaos or the drama, you know, the poking, whatever, if someone's poking the bear, so to speak, just don't even engage. Step back and give yourself some time, you know, really get perspective about it. And then you'll be able to come out of this with a clear view, and you'll be able to come out of this time of reflection and retreat. And you're going to start a brand new cycle, a brand new beginning with this, where you're going to have the strength to do it, and it's going to help you to make progress in whatever area you're going to set your intention with, to either continue on or to begin, however that relates to you. You know, you will find the inner strength, but this is about you this week. You know, this is all about your perception, situation that you've been perceiving, or a series of situations, or a person, set of people, and you're shifting your perspective because it's too much. Whatever it's been, it's too much, right? So let's pull one more and see what the messages are. You know, growth is not always doesn't always feel pleasant, but it's always positive in the end, because as much baggage and junk that we can get rid of, that we hold in our minds and in our heart spaces and emotions, the more we can transmute that and let it go and not live in the past anymore, the more beautiful room and space we have for the present. You know, it's just literally the truth of it. And then you have whoop whoop. Okay, so that's kind of a celebration card where this is going to be a really good shift for you. This is going to be something you're going to feel so much better for. You're going to feel bigger, better, stronger when you're done. And it's going to be a little bit of a celebration for you. And it may just be an internal celebration, you know, in your heart space. But to get that feeling of life is good again, and to gain your confidence back, get back on track, making steady progress with something that's important to you, you know, that's all a beautiful thing and it's worth celebrating. So for you earth signs that chose this deck, that's your message. Those are the messages that came through for this week, August 16th to 22nd. Remember to make sure that you live big, live out loud. Do not dim your light for anybody. Shine bright, because you're important and you matter, okay? Until next time. Hi everybody, we're going to get started with the third deck, deck 3. So if you've chosen deck 3, this is that deck. Let's get started with your initial messages for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn the week of August 16th to August 22nd. And let's see what messages want. How many is that? No, it's too many. Okay. When they pop out, it's usually important, but if there's too many, it's just a, you know, flop in the shuffling. Okay, so let's really shuffle these up and get a good message coming through here. So the first message is the eagle, spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm. Okay, and number 9. So this is, the eagle is all about, you know, in this case, it's about, you know, connecting to spirit. It's about using your integrity, acting with integrity, but it's also about being connected. The eagles are like the apex, right? They are the creatures that they oversee everything. They have that high vision. They're very intuitive. They're very strong. They oversee. And they are connected, right? They are connected to source. So you're being asked this week to take a little look into that and to see where things are perhaps not in alignment for you. Okay, so we have the goblin, the wounded human ego, all right? So on some level, something has happened in the recent past or is about to happen, is in the middle of sort of emerging, where your ego's a little bruised. You know, perhaps someone hasn't acted with integrity, or you made a couple of decisions where you weren't really tuning into your intuition in full alignment, and your ego's a bit bruised because you've realized that that wasn't the wisest thing and it's not having a positive impact, you know, on the circumstances or the situation. Or you may be dealing with someone that has got a bit of a bruised ego right now, and maybe they're posturing a little bit, and you're being asked to just stay connected, stay strong, stay in spirit, keep your integrity, you know, no low blows, just let them move through it. By all means, keep your boundaries, you know, but don't get caught up in this mix if this is somebody else. And then we have the deer, gentleness and diplomacy, number 22. You know, and that's that double 2, that master number going on there. So the gentle diplomacy, this is looking more like it's somebody else as opposed to you that has got a little bit of an ego wound going on, and you're being asked to use diplomacy and be gentle when dealing with this person. They're a little bit fragile in terms of their perception around something in the recent past, or, you know, this week coming forward. And use your intuition, use your connection to spirit, use your resources to help you deal with this person or this set of people. Now, if this is you, then you're being asked to be gentle with yourself and not so hard. Get connected again with your source, you know, and align with your integrity. And then you're going to transmute this wounded ego. You're going to see it for what it is, that it's just, it's mind chatter, you know, it's thought forms. It's not truly who you are. And you're going to see it, you know, as long as you're within this, as long as you're good to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. It's just going to make it worse, you know, because the ego is just going to come in and say, see, I told you, all that judgment, right? So then we have restriction. So you've been definitely feeling restricted, you know, and you've held yourself closed off. You've gotten a little bit wounded, as I said, with this ego, and you're not being as gentle with yourself as you need to be if this pertains to you. So you're putting yourself through the ringer right now, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. If you chose this reading and this is connecting with you, stop it. Stop putting yourself through the ringer like this. Like, why? You're hurting only yourself when you're doing that. You know, it's the self-judgment and the negative self-talk and being harsh on yourself. Like, that's no good. That's a lowering vibration. That just brings us down even more. And the universe brings us our most relevant, strongest, not relevant, it's the frequency we're giving off the most, the strongest, that's what the universe responds to. So if you're stuck in a wounded ego energy where it's like a, you know, poor me, nobody sees, you know, things the way I see them, and you're not spiritually connected and you're not acting in integrity, the universe is going to bring you more of that drama. It's going to reinforce that for you. But if you are connected and if you are acting in integrity and you're aligned and you're gentle with yourself, you know, then this restriction loosens up, because all you're doing is putting a box around yourself, you know, when it's negative like that, when you're hard on yourself. You don't need to be hard on yourself. You need to be truthful and recognize that that's okay. If you've made a mistake, you know, if you've made an error in judgment, so to speak, with someone or something, just recognize it. Forgive. That's all it takes. See it and forgive it and move on. You do not have to hold yourself hostage to your thought forms, to things like that. They just end up controlling so much of your life that it doesn't, you know, there's no need for it, but we do this to ourselves. And we all do it, you know, we all do it. And the universe is telling you right now, you know, no, it's time for you to stop that. Yeah, so we've got some change coming forward for sure. Okay, so under this energy of the goblin, the wounded human ego, the picture is so funny. We've got the Tower here. Oh, sorry, we'll go this way. So we've got the, we've got the Five of Cups, which is sadness, right? That's where we're feeling sadness and loss over something. You know, it could be grief as well. And we've got the Hermit, which is major arcana, which usually means major life events. So, you know, you're being asked to sort of align yourself, and the Hermit is all about stepping back. It's all about contemplation. It's all about retreating and coming back to your center. It's all about this, coming back to your integrity, coming back to your center, coming back to your spiritual connection, whatever that means to you. You know, it could just be your own guidance, your own inner knowing, or it could be your sense of your God source. Whatever it is for you, you need to get back to that. And the Hermit energy is asking you to do that. If this is around you being hard on yourself, if this is someone else, then it's, you know, it's time for you to maybe take a little step back and look at things, because it's creating sadness. Whatever they're going through is creating some sadness with you as well. You know, you're allowing yourself to be affected by their circumstances. And yes, we can have sympathy and empathy, but we can't walk somebody else's path for them. That is not our journey. And when we do that, and I've been guilty of this in my life for sure, when we try and make things easier for someone and it's their lesson to learn, we rob them of that lesson. You know, we think we're doing them a favor, but we're really not. We're taking away an opportunity for them to gain their own confidence, their own learning experiences, and grow from that. So we're stunting someone's growth, you know, if it's too much. So it's their path. And with this gentle diplomacy that you're, you know, this sweetness, you know, allow them sort of nurture in a loving way. You want to bring about that shift for them and let them know and help them to realize that they can overcome this and come through it, but they can't be codependent on you. They can't be dependent on you in order for that transformation to happen. Because under here we have, the Four of Pentacles, security, and we've got the Vortex, temptation, and that's major arcana as well. So, you know, the situation has been, perhaps if this is another person, the way it's coming out to me is that they feel like you are providing them with a sense of security. you're providing them with a sense of it's all okay. You know, you're maybe justifying this wounded ego for them, or you have been in the past. And the message now is no. You know, it's time for them to stand in their own power, because there's change happening here. You know, there's temptation. Don't be tempted to be someone's hero if it's not truly authentically called for. You know, if this is some growing and healing they can do for themselves, then be present for them, hold the space, but it's something they need to do. And if this is you and you've been wounded and moving through this, then don't be tempted, you know, by something that comes along at the surface that just seems like it's going to provide you the security, or it's going to help you feel better in the moment, you know, because that's temporary. You need to be in alignment with your integrity. You need to be in alignment with your connection to source and spirit, and with your intuition and your intuitive knowingness, your sharp perception, right? To not let yourself get sucked in to that. You know, you can bring about your own security. That's all within you and your space. So don't be tempted to get drawn into someone else because you're feeling a little bit wounded and you feel like they're going to validate you, and you know, because you're going to feel more secure if you're in that situation. It doesn't necessarily feel better, right? So then you've got restriction, and under restriction you've got the Tower and the Page of Cups. So to me, Tower is all about destruction. Something is changing suddenly, and it's going to bring about the end of something. It doesn't have to be, quote, negative, you know, or drastically detrimental, but it's definitely a shift. It's definitely a change, and it kind of comes out of the blue, you know. So if this is you dealing with someone, then they may have this, be relying on you a little bit too much with this, you know, whatever their ego's been wounded over. And it's time for you to just diplomatically let them know that they've got their own inner strength to deal with this, you know, and not be tempted to sort of fall into that wounded healer archetype, that wanting to fix others or fix things for them, you know, because then you've got this energy of the Tower where there's going to be a shift. And you've got this you've got the Page of Cups, which is imagination. So it could be that a solution is going to be coming to you, you know, a creative solution. If this is a bit delicate, if it's somebody else, then a solution is going to come, and it's going to bring about this drastic change. And it is going to be a big shift, a big change. If this is you internally, then this is you using your creativity, your imagination. Just accept whatever comes to bring about this new change and this new solidarity and security that you will feel once you stand in this power. So the earth signs that have drawn on this deck for this week, you know, this is really all about not getting too caught up in the ego, whether it's yours or it's someone else's that's, you know, affecting you or you're connected with. And it's all about staying in alignment with whatever events unfold. And there's definitely some that you may trigger, or if this is about you and someone else or something else, it may trigger this change. But know that this change it's important, you know, because it's going to end the restriction that you've been feeling, and it's going to allow you to come back into this, you know, this beautiful space again, or a more open space where you're feeling more aligned and more true to yourself, which will then, if this involves someone else, allow them to be more in line with themselves authentically as well, right? Okay. I feel like I've been talking way too much. Oh my gosh, my voice is starting to get hoarse. We're going to draw another card just to see how this reading ends out, and then we will close it out for this week. So we have the new moon readings coming up for the 18th, so please look out for those. They'll be coming out this week. They could even come out just before... no, they won't come out just before the reading. I'll give a few days ahead of time. But that's on the 18th, okay? And please click the like button or the subscribe button if you're getting something from these and want to share them with others and help me build awareness. Smooth and easy. So things are going to get much more smooth for you once you come through this and make this decision and end this restriction, this little cycle that you're in, or it could be the ending of a long cycle. Really, you've got a couple of major arcana in here, which usually signify major life events, which go around bigger, longer cycles. So once you move through this, things will be much more smooth for you. So that's the message coming around. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, those of you that chose this deck, those are your messages this week. Remember to please make sure that you live big and shine your light bright. You are important in this world. You matter just as much as anybody else. Don't dim your light for anybody, okay? Have a great week ahead. Until next time.